Hey guys, I'm Mark with the Ovalrc, and today we'll be finishing up the Tamiya Buggyra Fat Fox Euro truck. Now we still have to put together this two-piece body, and after we're done cutting it all up, we're going to have several pieces. So we're going to paint the body, put everything all together, and we'll be putting the decals on it, and then we'll be installing it on this brand new chassis that we put together in the first video. So let's get started, and step one is already done. We already installed the rear bumper. Now we're ready to move on to step two. Okay, so you have to look real close, and I hope you guys can see this, but we'll be cutting out the cab out of this piece here, which is right there, and we'll also be cutting out the rear part of the cab, which is going to be right here. Now you have to be careful because on the end of this piece here, they want you to cut out some small squares for the mirrors. So I have a couple different tools that I'll be using to do this. I'll be using an X-Acto knife, a pair of scissors that cut pretty good around the corners, and a straight pair of scissors. Okay, so I just cut a piece off the back just to get that out of the way so I can get closer to cutting the piece I really need to cut off here, which is right along this line here. So we have the cab, the rear hitch area, and the fenders separated from this piece right here, the back of the cab. So now we can finish cutting out the back of the cab. All right, I have the first piece cut out. If you look along the top here, you can see that it goes in just a little bit like this. Along the bottom and back of the cab here, you can see I left this line pretty straight. If you hold a straight edge up against, it doesn't fit tight against that straight edge, so it's not exact, but I did the best I could. And there's little cut-ins right here on the corners. Now we're ready to cut out the cab. Now before you start cutting it, it's extremely important that you look at the fine lines that are around the cab. Look at the directions because they do have a clear picture of what you'll be cutting out. So that way you don't make a mistake and cut out something you're not supposed to, and that could create a big problem. So the tool that seems to be working the best so far is these small pair of scissors with the curve in them, and I think they are for cutting this Lexan plastic. And I found it best just to take a little bit at a time. Don't try to cut it all off at once. If you keep getting closer and closer to the edge, it seems a little easier than trying to take it all at one bite. If you guys see, I'm taking a huge chunk across the back here just to separate the cab. Now we have the cab area to trim up, and we'll trim up real nice across the back here and get rid of the excess. So I have the cab all trimmed out pretty nice right along the line, except for right up in the front. I have to cut out these little cutouts yet, that way the cab can sit right down on top of the bottom of the body. Alright, after you have the cab all cut, you can set it down in place on top of the body. Make sure it fits real nice along the front of the hood, along the doors at the bottom. And take your rear cab piece, put that on the back, and right here where we cut the back out, just that little bit, fits real nice up against the cab, and it fits nice across the back on each side and on the very bottom too. So it looks like everything fits really good. We're ready to move on to the next step. The next pieces we'll cut out is this coupler, which is the hitch, and the rear fenders. This coupler seems like a pretty easy piece to cut out. We're just going to cut right along the bottom of the coupler, right along the edge there, all the way around. And I'll finish this piece off by trimming up the edges. We have our coupler plate all trimmed out, ready for paint. Now we have to cut around and cut out these two fender pieces. Step number 3, they want you to cut apart this mask tape here for the windows. And I already have two pieces applied inside the cab, just like that. And an easy way to apply this mask is take a corner edge maybe about that far there, and fold it over like this. Now you can hold it up to the window and you can move it around, and when you have it in place, then you lay this side down here first and the rest will lay right in place real nice. I can show you what I mean here. It is hard to get these things exact, but you can see how we have the inside of that started on this corner here. And after you have one side started, then you can just lift this up, carefully peel the back off just a little bit, and roll the rest down with your finger. And if you have it straight to start with, then the piece is going to lay down nice and straight too. Lay it down real good. Make sure no paint's going to creep underneath there. Step number 4, and we taped up the lower doors on the cab. We'll be spraying the inside of the cab here a metallic green. See how that turns out. We'll be backing it with a silver paint. We have the windows all taped up, ready to go. And we had the back of the cab. We'll be spraying that with metallic green and also backing that with some silver. I'll be spraying this coupler right here that goes on the back of the truck. We'll be spraying that a light green. And the fender's already sprayed black. Now you'll see on every piece that it looks like it's a flat black, but you'll have to peel back this protective plastic right here. And when you do, you're going to see how shiny that is. Don't forget to peel back that plastic. It's on the top of everything. On the inside is where you spray the paint. So we're going to go ahead and spray this up, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when we're done. In step 4, we painted the cab, and I used this metallic green here. I already put some stickers on the windows just to see what it would look like, and we stickered up the side window. On the bottom half of the cab, I painted that white. You can see where I taped that off. If you look on the inside of the cab, you can see how my final coat was white, and that covered that green nicely. And I even got some runs down there, but you never see it with the finish on the top. So this is what it looks like. This is what the cab looks like. And in step 5, we're gonna cut out the main body, or the lower part of the body, and you just have to be careful to cut out the license plate in that gray area there. Compared to everything else that we cut out so far, this lower part of the body actually looks pretty easy. We just have to go around this line here on the bottom. Be careful not to cut that license plate at the back. Make some holes for your body mounts, 2 in the back here. Put 3 holes here so you can have your hitch plate on the back, and put some holes in for your fenders, which we'll be doing here next. So something you want to remember when painting a body, you always spray the darkest colors first. So this area here is going to be in black, and you always want to spray it on the inside. So we have everything all taped up. We have a square taped up here, a circle here. So our first color, we'll spray black, and then we'll spray some either green or purple stripes in there. We'll remove the tape again, and we'll spray the whole bottom in silver after we remove these pieces here. So when you flip over the truck, we're going to see purple, we're going to see black, and the rest of the body in white and silver. Yes, this did take a lot of time, but the amount of time that you spend on your tape job is going to reflect your paint job. So if you forget to press some tape down, or you leave a hole somewhere, the spray is going to get in between there, and it's going to show on your body. So make sure that you have it completely covered, and make sure you have everything all taped down so you don't get any overspray. When taping up the truck, I was using the Tamiya 3mm pinstriping tape, and I was using the Tamiya 18mm masking tape. And even though I haven't totally decided on which colors I'm going to be going with yet, you can see I got a large selection of Tamiya paints here. So now we're on step 6, and we're painting the lower portion of the body, and you guys can see the amount of tape work that I have into this body here. We're going to have about 3-4 different colors on the bottom portion of this body. I already have the top portion sprayed, so hopefully in a few minutes here I'll be able to show you what it looks like all together. So after my black was done, and then I took the tape out and I sprayed the silver, and then after that I had everything taped off to spray the green, and then my final coat was the white. So everything's done by the inside, and in the very end this is what everything looks like. Step number 7 is attaching the side mirrors to the truck. And you're going to do that by grabbing a scrap piece of plastic that we cut off the truck body. You're going to remove the plastic coating from the piece of plastic. And then you're going to look for 2 stickers that resemble a mirror on your sticker sheet. Stick them fast to the piece of plastic. You're going to cut around each one. After you have them cut out, you're going to stick a piece of 2-sided tape on the back of the plastic, and you'll install them inside these 2 mirror housings, and they will stick onto the side of the cab of the truck. After you slide them through the hole that you cut out earlier, you'll install a thick rubber bushing, and you'll install a rubber O-ring on the inside, and they will be held on by 2 body clips. In the kit, you get white 2-sided tape and black 2-sided tape. In this step here, it says to use the black 2-sided tape, and I have my mirrors stuck fast to the black 2-sided tape. Now we'll cut this out, and then we'll stick it inside the mirror housings. And you press it down into place so it looks like that. And that's what it looks like with our mirrors in place. Step number 8, we're going to install the cab to the lower part of the body, and we're going to install the rear coupler, and that'll be fastened with these 3 black screws and 3 3mm washers. And you'll install 3 3mm nuts on those screws. Also in step number 8, you're going to take the white 2-sided tape and you're going to cut 5.5mm by 35mm strips, and we're going to apply that along the lower body so we can attach the cab. Now you can see what we did in step number 8. We applied the 2-sided tape on the cab body, and we applied it all over the lower part of the body also. In step number 8, it shows you to install the cab onto the lower body like that first, and then install the rear part of the cab. I'm going to install the rear part of the cab first because I want to make sure that all this 2-sided tape gets pressed down into place. I set the cab part of the body onto the lower body first, so that way I could get it to line up right. Now I'm pressing everything down into place. That looks pretty good and feels pretty strong too. Next we're going to install the cab over the lower body. We're going to hold the sides open, set the cab down into place like this, push everything down so that 2-sided tape seals up real nice and tight. I think that worked out pretty good, and I think our cab's going to stay attached to that lower body. And now for the fun part. Step number 9, it's installing all the stickers on the truck. I think putting a lot of stickers on the truck really makes your colors pop, and it is a racing truck, so it'll look really good. Before I do that, I will move on to step number 10, and that's installing the rear fenders. So first you might want to put some stickers on your rear fenders, and then you'll install the fenders using 4 bolts, 4 washers, and 4 nuts. And in step 10, all we had to do was attach the rear fenders, and now all that's left is installing all the decals. I got all the stickers on there. I don't have them all on, but enough to make it look pretty good. And I think this truck looks pretty good. I'm going to be putting it on the track tomorrow night. I'm pretty excited about it. Here we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build of the Tamiya Buggyra Fat Fox Euro truck. If you guys already build models, you're really going to have no trouble putting this together. For some of you guys just getting into the RC hobby, this may be a little challenging for you. Just follow along in the directions and follow along in the video, and I hope it helps you out. Please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget you can join my Facebook group. That's the Ovalrc. I'm Mark with the Ovalrc. We'll see you next time.